Myself and Alan here. First of all, congratulations. And
Thank you.
so what's it like standing up in front of a room full of people as the head coach of the LA Lakers?
Man, it's phenomenal, man. It's like, man, God is real. Like, God is real. Won't He do it? It's one of those things, man. Just coming, it feels like it completely feels like a homecoming. You know, it's like having the opportunity to get my first coaching job here in the NBA and then double back 10 years later as the head coach. Like, you couldn't write a more perfect script.
It is the fact that this is your first head coaching job in the NBA, and it's with the Lakers. You've been around the league as a player. You've been around the league as an assistant coach, but that first time sitting in that chair here, what's that going to be like?
I mean, it's cool, man. I felt no pressure. I mean, it was just wanting to get it right and be clear and straight to the point. And I think I got a great partner in Rob Pelinka and a wonderful, outstanding ownership group with the Buss family that's behind us 1,000%. And we have a staff we got to work through and figure out how our staff is going to look from a coaching standpoint. And we're going to put our best foot forward, man, and see where it takes us.
Darvin, what's and I know this is kind of the process, and I'm sure there's such a long way between today and when you actually get to training camp. What do you hope to accomplish between now and then? What is the process? And obviously in your other roles or going from an assistant coach, but in your position now, what do you hope to accomplish between now and then?
Well, just getting with all of our guys, especially LeBron, AD, and Russ, and sitting them down one-on-one, getting them, the three of them together at some point, making sure our entire squad has a thorough off-season plan that they're going to be following. Start the process now, giving them bits and pieces of the system, the new spacing we're going to run, the type of defense we're going to be running, and then building out our roster. You know what I mean? Building out our roster, building out the coaching staff first and foremost, but building out the roster just to see, you know, what's the best talent we can put around these guys. Not to just everybody say, well, you need to get younger. It's not just that. You need to have a well-rounded, balanced roster and get some shooting, get some athletes, and try to help our big three not have to run to the telephone booth every time and put a cape on. You know what I mean? Get them some help in here. And then we got some young guys that's working, Stanley, Austin, Winion, like that's working their tails off, and I think going to be able to be really good contributors for our team going forward. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Darvin Ham, the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, joining us here on Travis and Sliwa. And when you got the job, Darvin, hearing some of your former players, seeing some of your former teammates talk about you, the universal thing that you heard from almost everybody is he's a tough guy, and he's going to challenge these guys. He's going to make them do the things that need to get done. How do you go about doing that? How do you go about challenging a LeBron James and Anthony Davis, a Russell Westbrook, guys, like you said, that are some of the greatest players this league have ever seen, and at the same time maintain respect but get what you need from them?
Well, it's just, you know, the fortunate thing is they just won a championship here 2 years ago. And there was a standard that was set defensively. There's a plan that has to be put in place to where I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of in terms of the little things. We're going to start this new quote-unquote Darvin Ham era on the defensive end and build our way down to the offensive end. We got to get stops. We got to get rebounds. We got to keep people in front of us. We got to have individual pride when we're guarding the ball. We got to have the help. It can't be an afterthought. The help has got to be on point if we do get driven. And then once the shot goes up, we got to contest without fouling and control the rebound. We do that, we get stops. Our offense is it's like a trigger effect. Our offense is automatically going to get better because, again, you're not playing against a set defense every time. So being able to run and our 4-out, 1-in system, we're going to have a built-in slasher in transition and different guys going to be able to bring it up and just working around that, moving the ball from side to side instead of just no pass shot, one pass shot. Like the ball has to move, and the ball and body movement is key. Again, once you get a stop on the defensive end.
Coach, obviously last year Lakers 16 games below 500. Things did not go as planned. What did it mean? I'm curious how you had Russ here. And you got a chance, obviously, he's here for your press conference. How do you envision using Russ? How do you and I say that for him specifically, but just kind of as a whole, how do you feel like Russ can excel in a system or on this Lakers franchise, especially with you as coach?
Again, it's like I said before, from a team standpoint, from an individual standpoint, Russ, I'm going to challenge him to be our best individual defender. I got to light that fire under him on the defensive end. And offensively, our running habits, I'm going to be harping on that consistently. Running habits. Sprint to the corners. We're going to have space. We're going to have a slasher. Russ may be bringing it. He may be sprinting to the strong side corner. Opposite weak side corner. He may be the slasher, slashing for a layup and being active in the dunker area. Going to use him as a screener, screening and rolling. He's so versatile. Like it's not just going to be him, driving against 3 or 4 people every time. We're going to move him around and put him in different spots around the court. And again, it all starts with his tenacity on defense. I want him to get back to that level defensively, which those years I saw him in OKC, and he was a monster, man. Big physicals, keeping the ball in front. We got to get back to that first.
Laker head coach Darvin Ham joining Trav and Slee. What are your expectations for the upcoming season? Obviously, you got to fill out the roster. You got to figure out exactly what you have before you can know exactly what you're going to be working with. But, LeBron James is looking for championships. Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook. What are your expectations?
And Laker fans are very patient.
Yeah, always have been.
Very patient.
No, man, I won't. I'll be the last one to put a ceiling all right. My expectations is we're going to get better every day. The daily process leads to progress. We're going to go as far as our preparation takes us, and we're going to prepare our asses off. Just to be frank, once we build out our coaching staff, build out our roster, just know we're going to be organized. We're going to be prepared. We're going to be consistent, and we're going to be relentless. There's times where LeBron is not going to want to hear my mouth. Russ is not going to hear my mouth. AD is not going to want to hear my mouth, but they're going to hear it anyway. Like you got to stay on that plan, man. Stay consistent with your plan, and the fact that I've done it as in a uniform and in a suit. Like, I think it'll carry some weight with them, but we got to actually go out here and put in the work. So I'm not going to put a ceiling on what we can or can't be. I just know that the way we're going to work every day, you're going to see some really, really good results.
Coach, how important is that? Everything you just said right there about the Bron might not want to hear it, and somebody else, this guy's saying it again. How important is that when whether you were winning a championship as a player or you had your opportunities in Atlanta, the last one in Milwaukee, and getting a chance to coach one of the best players in the league in Giannis? Is that something that, is that a foundational thing that no matter what, they want to hear or they don't, that accountability is everything?
The accountability is everything, man. You got to be competitive. You got to be together, and you got to be held accountable. Everybody. Individual workouts, the guy that's wiping up the sweat off the floor, everyone has to be held accountable within that standard that we're setting, because this is the one time you allow something to slip, or you allow it, you try to ignore something, that same scenario will carry itself into the game, and you'll lose a key game, lose a series, lose the opportunity to win big because you didn't stay consistent with the little things, the details. So that's going to be the biggest thing you're going to see.
Darvin, one more before we let you go. You mentioned, putting together a staff and building, your team together as well. There's a report this morning that Rasheed Wallace may be somebody. I don't know if you can talk about it officially or not. If you can, why Rasheed Wallace, or why a player like Rasheed Wallace coming in as a member of your staff?
Well, he's one of many candidates that we placed in a pool. That report was a little ahead of itself.
Mm-hmm.
We hadn't gotten that far yet with anybody. For that matter, and Rob and I are working feverishly. After all of this is done, we're going to dive back into his office and try to figure all of this out and just try to put together the best staff. People just talks of, well, you should have a veteran assistant, you should have this. I want the type of staff that I'm accustomed to, have been accustomed to the last 9 years. Everybody on the sideline able to do scouting reports, able to roll their sleeves up, get on the court with a player, coach the game even if they have to, coaching in practice, doing breakdowns, offensive breakdowns, defensive breakdowns in practice. So I'm looking for the best possible staff in that regard. And being a first-time head coach doesn't scare me at all. If it's going to get me in the finals next year like Ime, then
There you go.
I'm all
I think
for
people would sign up for that. I think
Yes,
everybody would be
indeed.
very excited. Congratulations on your introduction. Welcome back to Los Angeles. I know
Thank
Laker
you.
fans are thrilled to have you here and apprapapate
Yes,
you
indeed.
coming by and talking.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it,
man.
man. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Looking forward to it.
Darvin Ham, the new head